You're watching the hard facts from the CNN News 18 Federal Bank Studios. Viewers, what a day. What a day it has been. The forgettable headline made us feel small, inadequate, fragile. It was as if India was on the brink of collapse on that fateful day in 1991. Viewers, look to the right of you and you will see the headline. On that day, the government of India had to hypothecate the nation's gold reserves in exchange for a bailout. As we know, Indians have an emotional relationship with gold. Selling gold has been mythicized as the ultimate slap in the face. So when this morning we woke up to the news that India had brought back 100 tons of its gold reserves lying in UK banks, we all felt 100 feet tall. This was the first time we had brought back gold reserves in such a large quantity since a very long time, viewers. The move underlines India's rising economic confidence. Just the other day, the RBI even paid out a massive dividend to the Indian government, which will no doubt be dispersed against welfare measures. And as we all basked in the golden light of our latest import, came the doubly delightful news that the Indian economy was growing at a rapid pace. We'll talk a little bit about that. But first, viewers, let's focus a little bit on this big story about the gold returning to us. Why does it matter so much? It matters because it underlines, as I told you, the robustness of the growing Indian economy, testament to the nation's economic confidence and the diversification of foreign exchange reserves. It could also, of course, save storage fees that are paid abroad, especially to the United Kingdom, to store this gold. Now, viewers, as I told you, as we were basking in this reflected glory, this golden light, so to speak, the numbers on the economy have also come in. And viewers, the news was delightful because it tells us that the economy is growing at a rapid pace. And you can see those numbers on your screens year after year, viewers. 8.2% closing out the financial year. The government will no doubt claim credit and also vindication. And there are, of course, if you really look at the numbers, you go into the micro details of it, you will see, viewers, that this is an overall well spread out resurgence. Let's get a sense of what this means, viewers. Let's open this up. Let's have a conversation because, as you know, this election is not over. We still have the last phase. And people, of course, will be voting tomorrow. They will be going in with this knowledge. On the one hand, Dr. Ranganathan, we're also going to be joined by Professor Mehrotra. But let me tell you, on the one hand, Dr. Ranganathan, we have this sort of constant droning noise, let's put it like that India, its economy is floundering. Many people are out scrounging around for scraps. There is poverty, there is no doubt about that, but we've also lifted millions out of it. That under Mr. Modi, there has been a complete dereliction of duty. Now, all these numbers are sort of coming through. How does this juxtapose against that criticism?
Good evening, Rahul, and good evening to my fellow panelists. Look, it's very simple. As they say, it's the economy, stupid. One can say that there are cultural reasons, there are castes, arithmetics or chemistry or whatever that wins elections. No. At the end of the day, it is the economy. And the way you've come through over the last 5 or 10 years in the economic parameters that the world considers should be the ones that should be monitored. Essentially 5 or 6. If you were to look at just beyond that, not just 5 or 6, because I'll narrate that story as well, you would see that the Indian economy is on a bounce, and I speak as a layman, not as an economist. You have other panelists who are much more well versed with the machinations of economics. But what does a layman see? The layman sees that the GST monthly collection has been the highest ever at 2.1 lakh crores. That would not have been the case had the nation not been prospering and the economy not in good hands. The layman sees that the exports are at a 20-month high of 12%. The layman sees that the index of industrial production is at a 1-year high of 5.8%. The layman goes out, wants to buy vehicles. The layman sees that vehicle sales are at highest ever at 4.2 million units. The inequality is at a record low of 0.40 Gini coefficient. The layman sees that income tax returns are highest ever at 68 million. The layman, if he or she is a banker, sees the net NPA ratio is at a 10-year low of 3.9%. And is all this being made out of helicopter money, as they say? No, the layman sees that the debt to GDP ratio is at a 4-year low of 85%. But the most important things, the layman sees that the unemployment is at a record low of 3.1%. The layman sees that NSS, PLFS, LBD shows total employed workers in India now stands at 582 million. This means that 85 million jobs were created between 2014 and 2022, not counting the last 2 years post-COVID boom. The forex is at an all-time high of 650 billion. The inflation is at a 6-month low of 4.8%. And finally, the layman, if he is investing in the stock, sees that a Sensex that was 25,000 in 2014 is today at an all-time high of 75,500. Now you tell me, this is what the layman is seeing. What is an expert seeing? I leave it to you and the experts.
Well, that was quite comprehensive for somebody who's not an economist by training. So at least you've zeroed in on some of the macro numbers. Let me bring in Professor Mehrotra and also Sanju Verma. Sanju Verma, of course, has been a banker, so she knows the financial system in and out. But let me bring in Professor Mehrotra because, Professor Mehrotra, look, we all woke up to this great news that India is getting its gold back, 100 tons back from the UK, the largest such shipment coming back in a very, very long time. Clearly, this is a sign of marked confidence. It's happening under the Modi government. And also, of course, you see these numbers that have come in, NSO data. And the NSO data is telling us that, look, we've grown at 8.2% for the last fiscal year, financial year.
So you now want me to respond?
Yes, yes, please, if you're well prepared, that is.
It goes without saying that I'm extremely well prepared, sir.
Yeah.
So first of all, GDP growth rate. No economist, serious economist, actually believes that 1 quarter's 8.4% growth is what it is going to be, firstly. Secondly, still remaining on the GDP growth, please remember that these GDP growth numbers are merely capturing the organized sector of the economy. They are not capturing the unorganized sector of the economy because pre-policy delivered shocks were delivered to the economy by the government. First demand in 2016, then a poorly planned and designed GST in 2017. And as a result, the growth slowed down dramatically every quarter until the lockdown, the national lockdown at 4 hours notice, and that led to a contraction of the economy. All of this resulted in a contraction of the unorganized sector and the MSME sector, which is supposed to contribute some 85% of jobs and number of enterprises in the whole economy. If those contracted and the government is not releasing any data about it, how can we be sure about these numbers being actually reliable of growth rate? Because they are based essentially only on organized sector, not the unorganized sector. Let me turn to inequality. We've just learned from a solid study, the best study that I've seen on inequality, Please remember, give me time because you gave Mr. Raghunath a lot of time. Inequality, I will deal each one of those with points. The worst inequality in 100 years. And if you don't believe me, please send me the email numbers of all your colleagues, and I will send you that study.
Who is it by?
Professor Piketty is the world's best known, and I have sent it. Ha ha ha.
Oh my
Answer,
God.
ha ha ha.
The next is Mani
because
Shankar Iyer.
you are not.
Rahul,
neither of you are economists. Don't
the next
interrupt
is
me.
Mani Shankar
I
Iyer.
did not interrupt
let him
you.
finish.
I'm not going to be part of this debate.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
Yes, move on. I didn't even interrupt you. You can't even allow me to laugh. What is this? Are you in dictatorship?
Okay, let him finish. Let him finish.
Yes. Is Rahul Gandhi your prime minister
Okay,
already?
okay. Dr.
Move on.
Ranganathan, 1 second. Let him finish. He's in Piketty we trust, he says. Let's move on. He's making a third point. Come on. Let's
Can't
listen.
even smile.
Debt to GDP ratio we were told about. In 2014, this government inherited a debt to GDP ratio of 58%. It is now 82%. The total debt of this government, which it inherited, was 55 lakh crores. It stands just for the central government at 165 lakh crores. That's 3 times what it inherited. Employment, we are told, PLFS data says 3.1%. It is totally non-believable. Why is it that the CMIE data shows that youth unemployment is running at 44%, and overall unemployment is running at 10%.
Okay.
The 3.1%, let me finish, Rahul, may I? Because you gave a lot of time to Mr.
I gave
Ranganathan.
him 3 minutes.
Oh my God.
I gave him 3 minutes. You've taken 7.
Unpaid family labor. Unpaid family labor.
Okay.
And 60 million workers were added to agriculture.
Okay.
Is agriculture work?
Okay.
The young and educated
May I
don't
please?
think agriculture is work. 60 million workers were added in the last 3 years alone.
Okay.
All on account of the stupid policies,
Okay.
the shocks that were inflicted upon the
Rahul.
economy.
Okay, now I just want to, since we talked about Mr. Piketty, I just want to make one little interjection before Sanju Verma comes in. I just want viewers to know that a large part of Mr. Piketty's original study was funded by George Soros.
Rubbish.
I don't
Utter
need to,
rubbish.
Of course it is
Utter
true.
and complete
Okay,
rubbish.
let's not, don't bark at me, it's on his website, please.
Thank you.
For God's sakes.
And don't use the word bark, Mr. Shivshankar.
Well, you are attacking me for no rhyme. Rubbish.
I don't need
Why
to
are
be
you
on your
attacking
show.
me? Why are you saying rubbish?
Because you've got your facts wrong.
Well, you can just say
Regrettable,
that you've got your
are
facts wrong. And I will tell you where I got them from. Please go and look at his website. He mentions that he has been funded.
You question the facts.
I'm
study
questioning the
results.
facts.
Don't
I'm
question
questioning
where the money
facts.
came from.
I'm only saying that the money came from George
Soros.
Soros, who is not really a happy
Excuse me,
campaigner for
is
this
anyone
government
questioning his
or
results?
for
No
India.
one is questioning his results.
Anyhow, look, you might put Piketty on a pedestal. There are other people who think he's quite a
There were
rickety,
two Indians
he's
who were
quite
part
a
of the
rickety
study.
economist. He's
Two
a communist
Indians.
he's a communist. He's a
rubbish.
he's a communist by outlook. It's
Okay,
okay, it's
thank
fine.
you.
It's
You are
fine,
showing
it's
your
fine.
colours.
It's okay. But he's called the modern
Rahul,
Marx.
this
I
is
don't
the-
call him the
this is
modern
the-
Who
Marx.
said so? Utter nonsense.
Rahul, you have to
A large number of economists have called him the modern Marx. I'll bring out the quote
and
for you.
complete rubbish.
Okay, sir, it's fine. Everything that comes out of one particular ecosystem is the truth and everything. But anyhow, yes, Sanju Verma.
Thank you. And Rahul, if you notice, I did not heckle Mr. Mehrotra even once. And you know, Mr. Ranganathan and me were only laughing. And I think that is admissible because, we are not living in draconian times. So I hope Mr. Mehrotra will cool down rather than getting so agitated. And now I take strong offense to him saying neither of you is economist. You know, Mr. Ranganathan will defend himself, but Mr. Mehrotra, I'm a bona fide economist. I worked in the world's biggest, as an investment banker. So please don't give me lectures on what I am or I am not. Have you heard the name JP Morgan? आपको JP Morgan के अंदर entry भी नहीं मिलेगी सर, इसलिए शांत हो जाइए. Now let me complete. Now listen. Now you better listen because you have this habit of lying with a straight face, and I will call out each of your lies because I understand numbers better than most of the people that you have the pleasure of debating with. First and foremost, Rahul, Are you done laughing? I will not ask you to stop.
It's okay. Let him be.
Let him continue.
You can laugh.
Let him laugh.
I can't laugh.
Let him laugh. It doesn't matter. Make your points,
Yes.
please.
Thank you. First and
Why did you
foremost,
object to us laughing? Why did you object to us laughing?
I'm
Now
not
you are laughing.
objecting. I did not object.
Arey, move on. Rahul, this
Rahul, can
Yogeshwar
I-
Yadav.
Okay, please.
can I
Sanju
please?
Verma.
You know,
Sanju
this
Verma.
is
Go
this
ahead.
is an important debate. I did not
It is
heckle
very
any of the
important.
gentlemen.
Very important.
Yes,
Let's
thank
get on
you.
with it. Yeah.
Let's not lose sight of the woods for the trees and trivialize the phenomenal achievements of the last couple of years on the economy front that we've had the pleasure of witnessing right now, right here. First and foremost, the GDP growth this year is provisionally estimated to have grown at 8.2%. In FY23, it grew at 7%, and the financial year prior to that, it grew at 9.7%. Tell me one country in the world, one major economy, after facing two black swan events. There was the Russia-Ukraine conflict, and prior to that, you had the worst pandemic, the COVID, in more than 100 years. Despite two debilitating black swan events, India is the only major economy to have consistently grown at more than 7.5%, which is the 3-year average. 3-year average will actually be closer to 8% or even more. The most important point are two things which keep coming up in every discussion. Inflation bahut hai. So let me tell you, let's not go by the inflation number 4.83, last month, and prior to that 4.85, or that wholesale inflation is only 1.26% after having been negative for the longest time. Let's talk about averages, because picking up one number from 1 month does not give you the true picture. The average inflation under Narendra Modi in the last 10 years is 5.1%. The average inflation under the Congress-led UPA from 2004 to 2014 was 9.1%, point number one. Unemployment, people say 3.1% is a figure which I don't believe. So let's talk very quickly in 10 seconds. Let's talk hard numbers. Every month, if you take EPFO and ESIC data, 28 lakh subscribers get added, which means every year 3.36 crore subscribers get added, which means in the last 10 years 33.6 crore subscribers got added. Let us round that off to 34 crore subscribers. Now naysayers might say, not everybody who gets added onto the EPF or ESIC payroll is a person who's getting job for the first time. There could be double counting, yes.
True.
There could be people who are just getting redeployed and not getting employed for the first time. That is why I say don't take the 34 crore figure on face. Just take a conversion rate of 63%. If you take a conversion rate of 63%, it means in the last 10 years, 21.7 crore, roughly 22 crore people have got jobs. And in this, I'm not counting mudra, I'm not counting jobs that are, that the job growth that is seen, say if a doctor says, मैं 2 nurses or 2 assistant hire karunga, or say a small, sweetmeat shop says, I need 2 more assistants. We are not talking of these people. So first and foremost, 22 crore jobs created in the last 10 years, I gave the data. Now, despite a debilitating COVID, the highest inflation under the Narendra Modi government was in April 2022, 7.79%. The highest inflation under the Congress-led UPA was in November 2013, 14.72%, despite no black swan event. Now let us talk about FDI. The FDI in the last 10 years, from 2004 to 2014 under the Congress, was $300 billion roughly. Under the BJP-led Narendra Modi government, it's $650 billion plus. Now let me tell you, GDP, real GDP in numbers was 91 lakh crore in 2013. Today, real GDP at constant prices is 174 lakh crore, which means real GDP at constant prices in the last 10 years of the Modi government has seen a phenomenal 91% jump. And last but not the least, I will wind up by saying this. The two biggest controversies are, external debt बढ़ गया, external debt बढ़ गया. नहीं भाई साहब, our overall debt to GDP is 83%. But anyone who has an iota of common sense knows that the central government debt to GDP is only 57%. And why should India not be scared despite a 83% debt to GDP? Because our GDP is not denominated in dollars. It is denominated in our home currency in Indian rupees. That is why we are insulated from any kind of an external debt bubble. Whereas be it Japan, be it China, be it United States, be it Australia, their debt is denominated in dollars. And by the way, Mr. Santosh Mehrotra, let me tell you something else. What the world is talking about today is the fact that under the Congress, we had the twin deficit problem. We had fiscal deficit and current account deficit. If you strip out the COVID years, India's fiscal deficit average is 5.4%.
That's true.
Under the Congress, last point, under the Congress, current account deficit average was 4.9%. And do you know, Rahul, the current account deficit under Narendra Modi, average of last 10 years is 1.3%. We do not have the twin deficit problem which existed.
Let me come back to you on this point. Look, there is also data which suggests, and this is government data, which also suggests that there are many more people seeking Manrega wages. So obviously there is some distress in the rural sector. But before you answer that, I just want to, since I've been accused of spreading rubbish, viewers, you see, there is another magazine called The Economist. Now, unless we believe it is economical with the truth, let me tell you one of its own headlines. This is on Mr. Piketty. A modern Marx is what The Economist designated him. And it's not just The Economist, viewers. There are several other top world economists, so to speak, Mr. Krugman and others, who called him a modern Marx. Not just that, NDTV in 2016, which is Mr. Mehrotra's and some of the Congress ecosystem and beyond, their favorite channel, at least in those days when the so-called Adani hadn't taken over, even they called him the modern Marx, quoting two other top economists. So viewers, I don't spread rubbish. These are the hard facts. Now you can contest that, you may agree, you may disagree, that's your call. But I'm only just talking about what usually people refer to him as. And Dr. Ranganathan, let me also say, do you think I'm being provocative in the extreme or simplistic if I say that the man was funded? I only said that. I don't know why people are reading so many motives into it. I just said he's funded, interestingly, by George Soros. At least his research for the first time, his first book, was largely funded by him. And this is something that he's accepted, and he's written there, I owe a debt of gratitude to George Soros. He's written it in his own book. Now, I mean, I don't know, I've read the book actually. I made the mistake of reading Piketty's book. But I like to read what other people on the other side of the fence, so to say, have said about certain things. So I read it, yes. Go ahead.
No, one thing I would look, Rahul, I went off first, thanks to you. I did not take anyone's name.
No.
I just gave out the data. I did not denigrate anyone. All I did at the end, without taking any names, was to smile and laugh at something. That's all. Would you call that interruption? Would you call that a reason, theatre, for somebody to, blow his top? The problem with these mediocre people is that the only thing lower than their credibility is their intelligence.
Okay.
I'm very thankful that this man has retired, because his students are, new students are saying, we don't want to be students and be professor.
Professor Mehrotra. Okay, let's set it aside.
He doesn't believe in anything.
Okay,
only
forget all this.
Yogindra Yadav, Mani Shankar Iyer, that clique.
Yeah.
They are the ones who calculate GDP sitting all night long. This is Sasta Yogendra Yadav, and he must be shown his place.
Okay.
You've taken
umbrage. Okay, you guys can. Okay, gentlemen, you guys can take this. You can take your differences, etc., somewhere else. But I just want to quickly get back to Mr. Mehrotra. Mr. Mehrotra, isn't it a fact that the GDP revision of the methodology is long overdue? I'm sure you would agree. Number one. Number two, I just want you to tell me if in this particular data hasn't been mentioned that manufacturing has grown by 10%. If that has actually happened, it would stand to reason that somebody would be employed by those manufacturers to make goods and offer services. That would mean that jobs are being actually created. Now, they may not be getting created at the pace you like them to be created, but to say that there are no jobs, etc., I think is a bit of an overreaction. That's my question to you, sir.
Okay, I hope you will give me a chance to respond to
Yeah.
you, Mr. Shivshankar. So I will start where you finished about manufacturing and manufacturing jobs. Let me just put the numbers on the table. In 2012, just before this government took over, there were 60 million workers in manufacturing in India. In 5 years' time, that number was down to 55 million. Okay, an absolute decline in the total number of workers that had never taken place. For the next 4 years, we never caught up to the 2012 manufacturing employment. Secondly, manufacturing's contribution to GDP in 2013-14, when the current government came to power, was 17%. In the last 5 years, it fell systematically to 13% of GDP. It has only in the last 2 years that it has climbed back up to 17% that this government inherited. What is the meaning of this? The meaning is that in respect of manufacturing output and manufacturing employment, we have seen a lost decade.
Okay.
Secondly,
Okay.
Rahul, can I quickly come in, please?
You made,
Quickly,
I'm only responding.
make your point. Second point. Yes.
Yeah, FDI, if I might.
Okay.
FDI as a proportion of GDP under this government in 10 years, despite the absolute numbers that were cited by both the other speakers,
Yes, sir.
has never exceeded 2% of GDP.
Okay. Okay. That's
Can I
where.
come in now?
Now let the other side respond. You made two interventions. Let the other side respond. Yes, Sanju Verma. 1 minute, please. I need to move on. Yeah.
Rahul, let's be very clear. Jairam Ramesh and, the entire cabal which does not understand difference between GDP and GNP have been saying, Narendra Modi changed the methodology. What Narendra Modi did was that the base year of GDP, rather than being 2004-5, it was made 2010-11.
Yes.
And in developed countries like US, UK, Australia, can you please keep quiet now? Why are you heckling? Can you extend the same courtesy to me? Rahul, can I...
Let her finish her point.
Factual mistake.
No, there is no mistake. Please keep quiet. If there's a mistake, you can rebut when your turn comes. The GDP base year was changed to 2010-11 after Narendra Modi took over in 2014 because it was long overdue. And instead of using GDP at factor cost, we started using GDP at market prices as the methodology, which is what is widely used globally. What is GDP at market prices? It is nothing but GDP at factor cost plus product taxes minus product subsidies. So this is a very comprehensive definition which includes the output of the country, it includes the impact of taxes, it includes the impact of subsidies. So anybody sitting here and saying that GDP at market prices is a flawed methodology needs to have his credentials checked.
Okay, one very important measure, let me just tell you, and this is the Penn World Tables data. Now, Professor Mehrotra has not given us the source for his statistics, but I'm giving you mine. I am ending this debate on this.
Government data.
The Penn World Tables data reveals the rate of growth of productivity in India. Productivity, viewers, pre-2014 was 1.3%. Post-2014, it is 2.7%, more than double. What does this tell us? It reflects the several reforms that have been implemented by this government after 2014, and the higher growth perhaps stems from the higher productivity. Now, viewers, who is producing these goods and services? It must be individuals. I leave it at this, viewers. It's just a big data point I've left for you to ponder and chew over. I'm coming right back, viewers, on a very big story. Don't go away.
Donald Trump became the first U.S. president to be convicted of a crime on Thursday, when a New York jury unanimously found him guilty on all 34 counts in his hush money trial involving Stormy Daniels.
I'm a very innocent man.
He is convicted of falsifying documents to cover up a payment to silence the porn star ahead of the 2016 election. The verdict plunges the U.S. into unexplored territory ahead of the presidential election on November 5th. Trump, who spoke shortly after the verdict, denies any wrongdoing. He's expected to appeal. He faces a maximum sentence of 4 years in prison, though others convicted of that crime often receive shorter sentences, fines, or probation. Incarceration would not prevent him from campaigning or taking office if he were to win.
There's no doubt it's a huge historical moment. This has never happened.
Political analyst Elaine Kamarck is with the Brookings Institution, a U.S. think tank.
I have always thought that this trial was the most damaging to him, even though the legal issues are not as consequential. And the reason I think it's the most damaging is it goes to his character. It is pretty clear that the man had an affair with a woman when his wife was home with their new baby.
Former federal prosecutor and legal expert Robert Mintz says the verdict shakes the very foundations of the country.
My guess is that we will see some period of incarceration, but I think it's going to be very limited. It's going to be more symbolic than it's going to be punitive, but I'll be surprised if it's a straight probationary sentence.
Trump will be sentenced on July 11th. The case was widely regarded as the least consequential of the 4 criminal prosecutions Trump faces. It was also likely to be the only one to go to trial before the election, as the others are delayed by procedural challenges.
You're watching the Hard Facts, viewers. The Congress has coined a new slogan that mocks the Prime Minister and paints him as a defeated opponent who is fleeing the battlefield with his tail between his legs. The cheekiness of the slogan may elicit some delight in Congress circles, a few chuckles and a few laughs, but it may not paint an accurate picture of what is likely to unfold on June 4, which is result day. As we decode the reasons for the Congress party's confidence, it becomes apparent that it has missed the woods for the trees, at least when it comes to the numbers game. And let me now, viewers, break it down for you. There are 8 facts that I am going to put before you. These are all based, viewers, on historical poll data. This is a purely cephalological exercise. I am not here giving out an exit poll figure. In 2019, viewers, and this is why we think that the Congress might have jumped the gun. The Congress says it wants to defeat the BJP. But in 2019, it won only 15 of the 186 direct fights against the BJP. If it has defeated the BJP as it is claiming, viewers, it will have to hope that it has won, or it knows that it has won at least 60 of these direct fights, or 1 out of 3 contests to deny BJP a simple majority. Now, to do this, viewers, the Congress will have to hope for a massive wave against Modi if it is to win at least 60 seats. As in 125 seats, it has trailed the BJP more than 19 to 20% of the vote. In fact, viewers, in at least 5 states, it is trailing the BJP by more than 40% of the vote. In Karnataka, it is trailing the BJP by about 19.6% of the vote. Now, viewers, the big question is, and this brings us to the hard fact 3, the big question is, can the Congress even win some of the seats it currently holds? 36% of the Congress wins in 2019 are in seats that can be characterized as swing seats and thus susceptible to flux. 19, by the way of detail, viewers, in 2019, 19 of the 52 seats that the Congress won were won by less than a 5% margin. That is why I say that they're susceptible to flux, and the BJP could easily win them back. What makes it even more difficult for the Congress to close the gap with the BJP is that it has fewer short seats that it can hope to retain, and that brings us to fact 4. Congress has only 51 strong seats that it won in 2 or all of 3 of the last 3 Lok Sabha polls. Viewers, the Congress is also limited by geography. It has very small catchment area to make up for putative losses in the 52 seats it won in 2019. Viewers, in 309 seats, it has not won them in 15 years. And it is also, remember, contesting only around 320 odd seats this time. So, if it needs to win more seats to defeat the BJP, it has to do it at the cost of the BJP, viewers, which, as I've told you, is tough. The Congress, while it is looking out to win against the BJP, it also must not forget that it is facing anti-incumbency too. 25 of the 52 seats it won in 2019 were from the South. That's the number, viewers. Is it going to win all of those seats again? There's no guarantee it will retain all these. There's another problem for the Congress. Before it can eye gains against the BJP, it will be difficult for the Congress to retain the seats it won in 2019, and 60% of these seats came from just 3 states, where it is actually fighting anti-incumbency and its allies, AAP in Punjab and CPI in Kerala. Remember, viewers, both these states gave Congress a huge number of seats. 15, Kerala, Tamil Nadu were 8 and Punjab were 8. That's why I said 60% of the 52 seats just came from these 3 states, where of course the AAP is saying in Punjab it's winning all 13. In Tamil Nadu it can't do better than the number because it is not contesting more than that number. In Kerala, viewers, The left says we've made gains. The BJP says we've been making gains. Moreover, last but not least, even reducing a 5% vote share from BJP will only yield Congress incremental gains, only 45 seats, viewers. Even if it takes away 5%, 5% is a big chunk to take away from a political party. It shows that there is massive anger against the BJP, and no one, viewers, not even the limousine, so-called limousine liberals, have said that there is any massive indication of anger against Mr. Modi's BJP. So viewers, has the Congress jumped the gun? That's the fundamental question. And I want to first begin with Kamru Chaudhary and put him on the mat on this question. Mr. Chaudhary, the maths is completely out of the ballpark. What is the Congress doing? Isn't it seeing the insurmountability of the challenge? And I've showed it to you. These are not fake numbers. This is 2019 data back at you, sir.
Yeah, Rahul, most of you and most of the psephologists or people who closely follow the political scenario in India were discounting rather, or cancelling Congress and the alliance 6 months before. But now in 2024, when we are discussing at the fag end of the elections, we find that still Congress is a talking point among most of the TV channels and among most of the psephologists. But one thing is clear, 2019 was a wave. There was a wave. Even I cannot deny it that there was a Modi wave. There was a Pulwama out there which influenced a lot of voters. Whether you may agree or you may disagree. But another point is that those people, despite the Modi wave in 2019, who did not vote for Narendra Modi and his party, give me one reason for them to vote for BJP in 2024. We need to discuss this also. Now, when you talk about the fact,
okay,
let me
one second,
say
Mr. Kamru Chaudhary. Mr. Kamru Chaudhary, how many elections has the Congress won since 2019?
We have, if you want to go for the results wise of the assembly elections, okay, fine. BJP has lost in Bengal. BJP has lost in Karnataka.
No. The Congress has won. The BJP lost in Bengal to the TMC, not the Congress. The Congress hardly figured anywhere. So I'm talking about the Congress. You won in Himachal. Let's put it down.
We won in Himachal, we won in Karnataka.
Yes, you won in Karnataka. Then?
Yes.
Then?
We won in an alliance in Maharashtra, but that was taken away by Sabha.
No. You didn't win that. You managed to win an ally who you never thought would ever be on your side of the fence. The ally broke down the Babri Masjid, sir, and is proud of it. But yet you held on to it because there is desperation. Okay. So let's come back to it. What, apart from these 3 states that you are holding on to, sir, in the last 5 years, you're saying, I'm only asking you, what makes the people of this country vote the BJP? Why do they think they should be voting the BJP? I'm asking the question, I'm flipping it on its head. Then how is it that if people are so fed up, one second, if people are so fed up with Modi, why haven't they elected you, the main party?
6 months ago, Rahul and your likes never even considered Congress a fighting force in this election.
I'm still not considering them because of the various problems. Okay, let me open this up. Let me get another fact speaker. 1 second.
Rahul.
Before Sanju,
one second. Correction or your
Kamruji, 1 minute. Kamruji, 1 minute.
One small correction. On fact number 5,
Yeah.
if you permit me.
Yes, please.
You said 309 seats were not won by Congress in the last 3 Lok Sabha elections.
Yes, sir.
Accepted. Can you tell the viewers whether these 309 Lok Sabha elections were only Congress? Whether there
It's
were
okay, sir.
allies
Now
who have
let's not. I've
May I
talked
please?
about
We are
the.
fighting
I'm
this
not.
not as
Can
a
you
Congress.
dispute these? Can you
We are
dispute
fighting-
these numbers?
we
One
are
second.
fighting here as an
Dr.
India
Birender
alliance
Chaudhary, let
to
me bring you
get
in.
rid
Before
of
Sanju Verma and
BJP
Dr.
government.
Anand come in. 1 second. Just 1 second. Let me just bring in Dr. Chaudhary. Dr. Chaudhary, you study numbers. The Congress says it has defeated the BJP. Ek phase bacha hua hai. They've defeated the BJP. They've come up with a new slogan, Bhag Modi Bhag. Right? Now you tell me, Birender ji, why do you believe that the Congress has not been able to do what it is promising to do according to you?
नमस्कार देखिए, भाग मोदी भाग तो कांग्रेस का स्लोगन है, लेकिन आंकड़ा मोदी भाग नहीं कह रहा है। यदि हम आंकड़े देखें, नंबर 1 कि कांग्रेस 2019 में सिर्फ 18 राज्यों में खाता खोल पाई थी, जिससे उसे मिला था 52 सीट, और वो 18 राज्य के नंबर थे 422। बचे 121 सीट जहां पर कांग्रेस का खाता ही नहीं खुला, नंबर 1। नंबर 2, जहां पर हम बीजेपी और कांग्रेस का डायरेक्ट फाइट की बात करें, आज सिर्फ मैंने 12 राज्यों को लिया है। आपको आश्चर्य होगा, इन 12 राज्यों का डेटा बनता है 175 सीट, और सिर्फ बीजेपी का, एलआई का मैंने छोड़ दिया है, 159 आउट ऑफ 175, यानी स्ट्राइक रेट 91%। कांग्रेस का भी जानना जरूरी है, 175 में से 9 सीट मिला है, 1 सीट एलआई का जोड़ दें तो 10 सीट है। यह तो हुई दूसरी बात। तीसरी बात सुनिए आप, जो 52 सीट कांग्रेस ने जीता था, उस 52 में से मैं आपको आंकड़े बता सकता हूं कि वो 5% से कम मार्जिन से जीता हुआ है, और वो सीट संख्या बनती है 18, और 18 में से जो 5% से कम से हारा था वो है बीजेपी। हमें तो सवाल ये उठाना चाहिए कि क्या कांग्रेस पार्टी 52 सीट रिटेन कर पाएगी या नहीं।
Oh, that's a big one. Okay, Sanju, a quick one, please. I want to bring in Dr. Ranganathan also. Yes.
Yes. Rahul, I always feel that, the other side gets mollycoddled by you. But anyway, I'm not going to play the victim card today. Today, I want your viewers to hear a tweet by Rahul Shivshankar himself, because not everybody is on Twitter, and I think this tweet beautifully sums up, the essence of what 2024 is all about. Because you need to know about 2019 to be able to adjudicate on 2024. Rahul Shivshankar has put out a tweet which says, 164 seats in Lok Sabha 2019, the BJP had a victory margin of 2 lakh votes. 105 seats, the BJP had a victory margin of 3 lakh votes. 44 seats, the BJP had a victory margin of 4 lakh votes. 14 seats, the BJP had a victory margin of 5 lakh votes. And the other thing is that the BJP's 50% vote share in 224 seats in 2019. Now, whether the BJP can retain that or not is not the question. How will the Congress manage to breach the barricade in these 224 seats where the BJP had a minimum vote share of 50%? And then Rahul Shivshankar also says that in the big states, which will be the swing factors, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Karnataka, Delhi, Haryana, Uttarakhand and Maharashtra, out of 257 seats in 144, the BJP had a vote share of over 50%. And last but not the least, मैं हिंदी की एक शायरी के साथ अपनी बात को विराम देना चाहूंगी। हमको मालूम है जन्नत की हकीकत, हमको मालूम है जन्नत की हकीकत, लेकिन दिल को खुश करने के लिए गालिब ये ख्याल अच्छा है। So the Congress also can see the writing on the wall, but they are not able to take cognizance of it, क्योंकि कहते हैं ना
Dr. Ranganathan,
कि हार के साथ समझौता करना बहुत मुश्किल होता है।
Okay, I want to ask you, why then is the Congress amplifying its prospects to this fever pitch? Why is it telling the public again and again, we are winning?
What else can it do? No, but Rahul, there are, as luck would have it, there are 2 wonderful Chaudharys on your show. Let me first address the more illogical and irrational one. There is a, sorry about that. I'm sure both of them won't mind. Now, there is a reason why sometimes I don't like coming on your show, because I spent 40 minutes collecting this data from the Election Commission, and you rattled off the same data in your hard facts, which is congratulations on that. But the fact of the matter is 40% of the seats that Congress won in 2019 were with 5% margin. Now, anti-incumbency obviously is a huge element that plays its role in Indian elections. Somebody who's won by 5% margin, obviously you would be a little less confident than you were in 2019 of winning it. That is logic and common sense. So for Congress to say that it's going to win, as Kamruji is saying, and as Tehseen on other shows is saying, more than 100 seats, I think they are living in cloud la la land.
Well, listen to this. Big breaking news coming in, Dr. Ranganathan, and I need to put it out there. OpenAI has come out and made a big statement. OpenAI has come out and said that there was an attempt, and there is actually an attempt to disrupt the Indian general elections, that a whole network of individuals was operating, generating content against the BJP in favor of the Congress party. This has been broken right now on CNN News 18, viewers. Big story, an attempt to mislead voters. I hope one of those voters is not Rahul Gandhi, because if he's been taken up or taken in by some of this propaganda, he might be believing it, and that could be a possibility why today the BJP has come up with this slogan.
I'm certain it's not Rahul Gandhi, because he was busy playing Pokemon.
Well, you know, this is strange. The OpenAI, creators of ChatGPT, have said that they have disrupted actions by an Israeli commercial company. Now, viewers, Israeli commercial company, Dr. Ranganathan, trying to influence Indian elections. They generated comments that focused on India, criticized the ruling BJP party, praised the opposition Congress party. Now, when it came to Pegasus, the government got a hard time, because they said, oh, someone out of Israel is selling all of this. How do we know that this particular company is not working with the opposition? I mean, I'm sure there's no altruistic purpose, is it?
No, we know, I think, was it 3 years ago, about Cambridge Analytica?
Yeah.
And its direct association with the Congress party. In fact, they were gloating about it. They had put even posters of it in their offices. So this is nothing new, but the fact of the matter is, let me now quote one of the BJP supporters, say, "Kuch bhi kar lo, aayega to Modi."
Okay, well, I don't know about that, viewers. This is very serious. Yes.
हम उनको लेकर आएंगे जो राम को लेकर आए हैं हम उनको लेकर आएंगे
Okay, very quickly, Kamru Chaudhary, why would somebody sitting in a foreign country be peddling a narrative favoring the Congress party?
Yeah,
What
it's
is
a
it?
very serious internal security question. If there is somebody involvement out here, but I have doubts about it because of the right-wing ecosystem, so friendly approach with Israelis.
No, but
We are
OpenAI is
purchasing
saying
drones.
it, sir. Why would you doubt
No,
OpenAI?
that's what you cannot be judgmental and saying that the Congress party is doing it.
No, I'm not saying
say
it.
The Bharatiya Janata Party and the RSS is
I'm
doing
not
it.
saying it. I'm not.
Am
If
I
it was
wrong
the
on
other
that?
way around, you would have
Because
immediately
people
accused the
that
BJP.
know
That
that
was what
they
I
are
was
in
trying
right
to say.
now, They're trying to put the propaganda like this.
No,
Because
Kamru
they can
Chaudhary.
only
No,
spread
if it had
lies.
been the other way around, you would have immediately accused. That's what I was trying
No,
to
no,
say,
I'm
that
accusing
you were
now.
immediately
Rahul,
accusing
Rahul, I'm
the
accusing
BJP
now
of being
that
hands
the
in glove
BJP
with the
and the
manufacturers
RSS
of
guys
Pegasus,
have tried to
etc.,
do this
etc.
because of
Anyhow,
the relation that
viewers, I've
India
run
has
out of
got
time.
with Israel
I've run out
and
of
the
time, but
right-wing
this is
ecosystem.
big
अब की
breaking
बार
news.
400 पार
The
अब की
right,
बार 400 पार
the
सुनिए
right
ध्यान से
stand,
कमरू
the
अब
right
की
stand
बार
coming
400
up
पार
with Anand Narsimhan. We are going straight across to him. We're closing the debate, viewers. Big news.
Co-powered by
Donald Trump became the first U.S. president to be convicted of a crime on Thursday, when a New York jury unanimously found him guilty on all 34 counts in his hush money trial involving Stormy Daniels.
I'm a very innocent man.
He is convicted of falsifying documents to cover up a payment to silence the porn star ahead of the 2016 election. The verdict plunges the U.S. into unexplored territory ahead of the presidential election on November 5th. Trump, who spoke shortly after the verdict, denies any wrongdoing. He's expected to appeal. He faces a maximum sentence of 4 years in prison, though others convicted of that crime often receive shorter sentences, fines, or probation. Incarceration would not prevent him from campaigning or taking office if he were to win.
There's no doubt it's a huge historical moment. This
Federal Bank Primetime Studio.
Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand with me, Anand Narasimhan, coming to you live from the CNN News 18 Federal Bank Primetime Studios. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to focus first straight up on the story of a rising Bharat, a Viksit Bharat, and especially a golden week for Bharat's economy. Earlier this week, the global ratings agency S&P revised India's outlook to positive from stable, signaling robust growth if India continued on this track over the next 2 years. Sound economic fundamentals over the next 2-3 years. The revision in the outlook is a big shot in the arm for the BJP-led government and of course an underlining or a testament to Modinomics. This is widely expected to also secure a third term come the 4th of June. Now it's also come to light that the Reserve Bank of India brought back 100 tons of gold reserves from UK vaults. This is being seen as yet another landmark moment for Bharat. The decision to hold most of its gold in its own vault signifies a departure from the crisis-ridden days of early 1990s when Bharat had to pledge gold overseas to avoid financial collapse. About 47 tons had been shipped then. Now first, let's also take you through the big GDP numbers that have come in just this evening at 5 p.m. and how big these numbers are and what the signal they say are very clearly sending out of possible incredible growth and transformation leading to a Viksit Bharat by 2047. The big numbers that were released today. GDP at 7.8% for Jan-March quarter of the fiscal 23-24. Real GDP estimated to grow by about 8.2% in the financial year 23-24 as compared to 7% in the financial year 22-23. Real GVA has also grown by 7.2% in 23-24 over a growth rate of 6.7% in 22-23. Now, the estimated growth of 6.3% in Q4 of 2023 of GVA. Now, real GDP is estimated to grow by 7.8% in Q4 of financial year 23-24. Now, India's fiscal deficit has also improved to 5.6% of the GDP in FY24, lower than the target that was set of 5.8%. Now, recent trends have also been very promising for Bharat, ladies and gentlemen. The big development earlier this week was S&P raising India's outlook to positive from stable. Goldman Sachs raised its GDP growth forecast on account of the bumper dividend by the Reserve Bank of India to 6.7%. Yesterday, the RBI forecasted real GDP growth at 7% in the financial year 2025. On the 23rd of March, the Sensex had rallied 1,186 points to hit an all-time high of 75,407. On March 23, the Nifty also moved over 360 points to trade at a record peak of 22,960 points. Nifty touched a new summit of 23,000 on the 27th of May. India's forex reserves have jumped to $4.5 billion, reaching an all-time high of $4.5 billion, reaching an all-time high of $648.7 billion on the 17th of May. Joining us now, author, economist Monica Hallan. She is the author of Let's Talk Legacy. Monica ji, namaste. Thank you very much for joining us here on this edition of The Right Stand. Let's start with the S&P ratings that came in earlier this week, where they've actually looked at India's outlook and they have moved it up from stable to positive. And this is amidst global recession. How would you read it?
So the rating has not gone up yet,
Yes.
but the outlook has changed, which is basically a precursor to the rating upgrade. So I think S&P has given a runway of about 2 years for the rating upgrade to happen.